Hi guys, it's your girl Coach Jenny. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. I hope you are following me and I hope you're giving your girl a like. And I hope all my videos, all my teaching series has been a blessing to you. So today, guys, we're going to be talking about supply and demand. Many people have been asking me, Coach Jenny, what is supply and demand? How do we use supply and demand in the Forex market? Today, I'm going to be teaching you how to use supply and demand in the Forex market. I'm also going to be teaching you step by steps on how to use it and also mistakes to avoid when you are trading supply and demand. So guys, don't miss out on this teaching.
All right, hi guys, welcome to today's class. So today we're going to be teaching supply and demand. We're going to be talking about supply and demand. And I prepared carefully slides that will help you guys understand supply and demand properly. Now, guys, what is supply and demand? Supply and demand is easy. This is simple economics we did in secondary school. Most of us have done economics in secondary school where we know supply. You guys would have heard that the higher the demand, the lesser the supply, the higher the supply, the lesser the demand. Or how did they even say that time in economics? The higher the demand, the higher the supply, or something like that. I don't even know if I paid attention in class. Now, so today we're going to be talking about supply and demand. Now, what is a supply and what is a demand? Supply zones are areas where sellers dominate. That's where price drops. Then demand zone are where buyers dominate, price rises. Do you understand? I give an example here. iPhone is in high demand versus, tomatoes. People rather, you see some people rather starve than buying iPhone. Do you get? So that's just how it is. Let me use another thing. Let me say rice and beans is very common in Nigeria. Let's say we all know that rice is in higher demand than beans. So you can see that rice is in high demand, but you hear people are complaining that we don't have enough companies in Nigeria that are producing rice and they've banned the importation of rice. So you see that the higher people, like the more people demand for rice, the more scarce it becomes. Do you understand? Compared to beans. So that is just how it is. That's just how supply and demand is. Now, supply zone is formed when sellers overpower buyers. Do you understand? Price fall after hitting this zone. So, guys, one thing you should know is that supply is for sellers and demand is for buyers. So just have that at the back of your mind or write it down somewhere. I hope you guys have your notebook, your notepad, and your pen. Now, demand zone is when buyers overpower sellers. Price rises after hitting this zone. Do you understand? Now, when those supply and demand matters, price move due to imbalances between buyers and sellers. You all know that the people that move the market, we have what we call market movers. People that move the market, these are people that's banks, um, hedge funds, institutions, companies. These are the people that control a larger volume in the forex market. Do you understand? These are people that control a larger volume in the forex market. I'm going to be showing you guys a simple example in the chart very soon. Let's just complete our notes. Now, how to identify zones. Look for a sharp move away from a level. That's big candles. Then identify consolidation before the move. Mark consolidation as a zone, fresh zone as higher time frame zones are stronger. One thing for people that have been following my teaching series, or if you are in any of my classes, you always hear me say that higher zones are always better. Me, I'm an intraday trader, so I always work with higher zones. Let me show you a simple example in the charts. I want to show you a simple example in the charts. Okay, so guys, this is the chart. This is the chart. You can see this. This is the chart now. So now let's identify supply and demand. It is 15 minutes. Like I said, I'm an intraday trader. If you want to know when best to apply higher time frames, you can go to my, other teachings. Now, me, I am an intraday trader. I like using, higher time frames. I use higher time frames a lot. Okay, let's use the 4 hours to search for our supply and demand. I really love the daily and the 4 hours charts. They literally give me what I want. Daily and the 4 hours charts literally give me what I want. All right, so let's try and identify our supply and demand in this chart. This is the GBP USD chart. As you can see. So now let's look for our supply. Let's look for our supply zone. Now you can see that this place can be identified as a good supply zone. For me, this place can be identified as a good supply zone. Now you can see here the market reacted here before and there was a major supply. Now guys, before I even continue, we all know what supply is now. Do you understand? Supply is for sellers, demand is for buyers. So here you can see the major supply move here. So now if I want to take a supply, that's if I want to trade this, let's say before this candle was formed, I'm going to mark here as my supply zone and I'm going to mark here as my demand zone. So now I'm going to waiting for price to get to this place. I'm going to sell it down, and when the market comes back to this place, I'm going to buy it back up. Do you get me? Now let me, that's before these candles were formed. This one is already formed. So let me just use this one now. Me, I like using the rectangle. So let's say this is our supply zone. Remember, this is a 4 hours chart. So now for me, this is my demand zone using my 4 hours chart. So now if I want to trade this, I will have to wait for this to sell down here. Now this guy I've already traded, so I don't need to start waiting for it to come here again. Except what I'm going to do if I'm to trade this, if I'm a supply and demand trader, I'm going to do this, wait for the price to react off here. Then I'm going to buy it back down to the demand zone. So this is my demand zone. So now this is just it. Stay one place. Why are you following me? Don't follow me. So guys, this is just, what's this? Why is it misbehaving? Sorry. I don't know why it's misbehaving. Do you know what? Let me just leave it here. Then I will extend this box. That's what I will do. Mhm. So this, what's happening to my markup? So this is it. If I'm to trade this is what I'm going to do. That's if I'm trading based off my supply and demand. Now, guys, one thing you should know that if you're trading supply and demand, always look for higher time frame. Higher time frame always wins. Higher time frame always wins. So if I want to trade supply and demand using the daily chart, that means my supply will be here. And My markup today is crappy. I don't know what's going on. Just keeps on following my mouse. Then my demand will be here. I might decide to use here for my demand. Remember what we said where there is a big push up. So this can be a very good demand zone. Or if I want to come down, I can use this. This can be a very good demand zone or this, depending on how far. But this side is too far. So let me just use this one. Remember, this is off the daily. So for the market to get here, it's going to be a swing trade. This is based on the daily time frame. That order was formed on the 4 hours for an intraday trader. So guys, you've seen it. This is basically supply and demand. Do you get it, guys? Okay, so sorry, I don't know whether it's my mouse. Just keeps on following me. All right, so that's that. I don't know. Is it my mouse that's doing this? I've never experienced this before. It's just following me up and down. Maybe I'll just okay. So that's that for that. So if I'm to trade this, I'm going to so if I'm to trade this, I'm going to do something like this to short it here to this position, or I might decide to short it down if I want to swing trade it. So now my stop loss will be above the previous high, a little bit above the previous high, and this is my entry. This is my entry. So guys, you can see the chart. This is it. But let's go over to, let me delete this. Let's go over to the 4 hours. Okay, so we have this. Let's do this. So short, I'm going to wait for the market to get here and shut it down here. Perfect. So my stop loss will be a little bit above my previous high. You can see it, guys. So simple. So now if you want to look for an entry, either you use a candlestick pattern. Me, I love using candlestick patterns as entry, or you use market structure as entry, or you can use trend to get your entry. All right, so let's talk about trading rules. Okay, we've talked about how to identify. Let's talk about trading rules. Buy at the demand, then you TP at the supply. Sell at the supply, TP at the demand. Place stop loss outside the zone. Exactly what I just showed you guys now. Common mistakes to avoid. Avoiding trade weak retested zones. When the zone is weak, you avoid it. Ignoring higher time frame zones. I already told you guys, higher time frame works better. Entering without a confirmation. I told you guys, either you use your candlestick as a confirmation. It can be a doji, it can be the M, the W pattern, triple top, triple bottom, whatever pattern, head and shoulder. Always get your confirmation before you enter. Summary of these classes: identify supply and demand zones, You wait for price to return. Once you finish marking, don't just jump in. You wait for price to return. Confirm with candlestick patterns. Manage risk and trade with discipline. And trade with the banks, not against them. As trade with the market movers and not against them.
All right, guys, I believe you now know how to use supply and demand and how to apply it in the Forex market. So I want you guys to apply this in a demo account and come and drop the results for me here. See you in our next class.